Thank you for listening and welcome to the Life Radio Show, a once proud member of the now defunct Eventide Entertainment Podcast Network. I'm your host, Don Smith. Scotty Mays is back in as guest co-host. The ever squeaky Star Day is still toughing it out in all this craziness. In a rare moment of reality on the Life Radio Show, we talk recovery and addiction with Scott H. Silverman. If you enjoy the show, like and follow the Life 1069 on Facebook and Don Smith Comedy on Twitter, or tune in live on Tuesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. on WWSU 106.9 FM, or you can stream the show live at WWSU1069.org.
The brutal presence overwhelms me. The brutal presence overwhelms me.
Anger toward Mrs. Claus. Hey, I love that we start with my anger toward Mrs. Claus.
And that's how drunken disorderly happens.
Yeah. Festivus for the rest. Hey, welcome back to the Life Radio Show. We're really not angry at Mrs. Claus.
10031, by the way.
10031. All right.
I don't know.
Thank
Mrs.
you,
Claus,
Thank you,
she's
Patrick.
very restricted.
Really?
I don't think her and Santa, like, you know.
I mean, she doesn't. She lives a pretty sheltered life up there by herself and a bunch of elves.
But I don't think she meets his needs. But he could be selfish, though.
Well, yeah, but he goes elfish.
Thanks.
But you know, I mean, if he can travel all over the world in a single night, he's pretty fast, and I'm sure he's not meeting her needs either.
Ooh, I never thought about
I didn't
that.
even know you were there.
That's
why they have the elves.
Right? Exactly.
Ooh.
Exactly.
So whatever happened to Star? Because now we have Mrs. Claus in here.
Now, I can't be Mrs. Claus. He's angry at Mrs. Claus. Yeah. Ms. Claus, maybe.
Miss Claus.
Missed Claus? Wait.
Lost Claus.
Anyway, hey, we're back on the Life Radio Show. We're waiting for while we're waiting for a caller. Star apparently shot somebody in the face.
Look, I didn't mean to. It was okay. So here's the deal: it was in high school, and we were all hanging out and going to play paintball. And I had only messed with the paintball gun once or twice in my life. And so, for people who could see us about the distance that Scotty and I are kind of from each other, guy told me the safety was on, and so I pulled the trigger and shot him right between the eyes. Literally, half an inch either way, I'd have blinded him.
Awesome.
Then he went to school and told everybody he got beat up because he didn't want to tell him he got shot by a girl.
Yeah. I think that's a better story than getting beat up.
Well, you know, I got shot by a girl between the eyes.
Yeah.
Better than getting shot by a guy between the eyes.
Nice story. I don't know. I've had that happen too, but that's a whole other story.
I've been shot by.
This one time in prison?
Give me a squeegee.
This one time at band camp.
Yeah.
Did you say, where's Luigi?
Yeah, give me a squeegee. No.
And that's the moment I lost my
nuts.
nuts.
Yep. Sometimes you just need to call in the Italian plumbers. That's yeah. Just not the eels.
Not the eels.
No eels.
Don't bring in the eels. It's slippery. Anyway, we do still have question mark. All right.
Emily's posting a bunch of question marks on the chat.
She's confused. Hey, if you want Harlem Globetrotter tickets, this is your last chance. I'm giving you 5 minutes to say something on Facebook Live or just say something. Just say anything. I don't.
Emily, you're out there. You need to get those for you and Liam.
There you go.
Oh.
There you go. The
brought the kid into it.
That's right.
Yeah, so you can send a message. Instead of sending a bunch of question marks, just say, hey, give me Globetrotter tickets, and you'll have them. Otherwise, I'm keeping them, and I have to work that day, so I can't even use them. They'll just go to waste.
You have to work New Year's Day?
Yeah, kind of. Well, no, that's New Year's Eve. I'm off New Year's.
New Year's Eve. I'm sorry, New Year's Eve.
Christmas Eve, I'm work. Christmas Eve, I volunteered to work because I don't.
She tried to send emojis, and they turned into question marks.
Oh, okay. Well, that you'll have that. Sometimes my emojis get out of control and just leaves me questioning everything. We're getting.
That's
deep.
Why the Emoji Movie got very bad ratings.
Yeah, that was the poop emoji. Rated itself.
It
was the only one they could send. That's
because you didn't use the electric eel to get it out.
Exactly. I think I actually had a story about an electric eel in here too, but no, that was last time.
That was last time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Electric eels
because it was powering Christmas tree lights from the nearest guy's butthole.
Wow.
Yep. Him and his ho ho ho.
How comfortable are you sitting that close to Scotty's sack of nuts? I'm just curious.
There's a they're fine.
They should smell like lavender baby powder.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Nice and fragrant.
All right, I think Scott decided he wasn't going to call it. It's like, no, never mind.
He thought he was late last time. Now he's like, no, I'll really be late this time.
That's all right. Whenever you're ready, we'll get started. Chris said she blacked both my damn eyes.
Chris, it was your fault for telling me the safety was on. We had this discussion.
Yep, get over it. You were a child. You were 17 years old. You shouldn't have been playing with firearms anyway. I mean, come on, man. Hey, we're getting a call, Patrick. This might be. Hey, hey, this is a live radio show. Is this Scott?
It is. Yes, I'm calling back on time this time.
All right, perfect. It's good to have you, Scott Silverman. What all do you do? I know you have a lot of things going on, and I had a list. I can't remember where I put it.
Did you lose the list on your break? Well, I'll work backwards to make it simple, real quick. I'm a family navigator. I'm a crisis coach here in San Diego. I run an outpatient substance abuse treatment program, and I'm also a subject matter expert when it comes to the OxyContin crisis, the methamphetamine crisis, legalized marijuana, what it's doing to people, and the vaping issue going on in our schools today. And my dream is to wake up every day and hope a family calls me or I reach out to one to not only reduce the stigma, but help them get access to treatment and help. And I'm on this new campaign called Funeral Avoidance. I don't want to go to any more funerals. I want to try to help people get into treatment and deal with what's going on with their loved ones. That's me.
Beautiful.
It's amazing.
Awesome. Yeah. Now, how long ago did you start getting into this? How long ago did you start? I'm trying to find the words.
Well, it's great. No, it's good. It's good when you repeat a question because at my age, that way I know for sure exactly what you're asking me. So
Am I losing my mind? I might be losing my mind today, Scott.
Well, if you're not sure if you're losing your mind, you're in a much better place than people who clearly know they are.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I feel better now.
Yeah, right. So, just last month, mid-November, I celebrated 35 years of continuous sobriety, and I like to share that because I want people to know there's hope and help. So I've been in the world of keeping myself sober and clean, and working with others, and formally have been working with families for decades, and opened my treatment center about 6 years ago because I was tired of going to funerals. I mean, literally, we're just losing hundreds of people every day right now across the country. And, being in San Diego, we're a border town, and, we just had a methamphetamine study just came out last Friday, literally, and said that the morbidity rate is up 31% from a year ago, 31% in 1 year. So you extrapolate that out over the next couple of years because people aren't using less drugs, people aren't self-medicating less, people aren't taking their own lives through suicide less. So clearly we've got a, how do we cope with life problem going on right now, not only in our community, but across the country. Right. And with the opioid crisis and with fentanyl and carfentanil right now and, counterfeit medication that kids are taking at parties, not knowing what they're taking. It's scary. And what I try to do is, and thank you very much for the opportunity to talk about it on the air, is try to let people know that, before you put something in your body, think twice, because what you might be taking is the last thing you'll ever take in your body. I mean, it's that scary right now in the social environment. We have kids right now in middle school in our community that are eating magic mushrooms and LSD again. That's coming back. So think about that for a second. I mean, it's like, what? How is that possible? That's what I was doing back in my, 20s, back in the 80s. So it's scary right now, and it's stunning to watch how many people are just not thinking about what they're putting in their body. And I'm not telling people don't, because I think when you tell someone no, I wrote a whole book about it, Tell Me No, I Dare You. But when you tell someone no, their attitude is, that's not going to happen to me. It'll happen to somebody else.
Right.
And I get asked a lot by the media is, why would someone sell something to somebody that might kill them? More importantly, why would someone take something that might kill them? Right. But, think about it. We've all been there. No one ever believes it's going to happen to them. And, we're watching, famous people all over the place. There was a young kid the other day, 20 years old, came off an airplane. He was a rapper, a young rapper, I think 20 or 21 years old just the other day. And we're seeing, movie stars and musicians and famous people and children of famous people. And it's a very difficult time right now. So I really want people to be careful and think about it. Kids are putting stuff in. You go to a party, I'm sure you've heard the stories. Everybody drops something off in the bowl. And at a certain time of the evening, everybody goes back to the bowl and grabs something and takes it. They have no idea what they're taking.
Yeah, that's crazy. I can't understand.
I know
that,
exactly.
That well, I know. Well, the city of Dayton. I mean, for a long time, we were, as far as heroin, we were one of the top in the country, and I don't think it's gotten better.
Well, and I think OxyContin. You guys were unfortunately one of the highest per capita in the country for a period of time there, where people were getting prescription medication, OxyContin, and they were overdosing on it. And now that people are mixing fentanyl with Oxy, it's just scary. And what is it? Just yesterday, the news came out that all 50 states have now had a major episode with somebody who's vaping. And vaping was created to help get people off of smoking tobacco.
Yeah.
But they're mixing THC, liquid THC with other chemicals, and that's what's causing all these lung problems. So just yesterday, they said the 50th state had their first person admitted to the hospital with a lung problem caused by vaping. So scary times we living in. What else can I tell you?
Yeah, it's like you can't do anything you shouldn't do.
Well, or you do, or you try to do it in a way where you're really careful about it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with vaping. I just think that there are products out there that are supposedly safe and mechanisms to do it. But if you're taking in something illegal or some knuckleheads making it in their garage and they're bootlegging it, you just have to be very careful about what you're putting in your body. And counterfeit medication. Some people, we just had 2 kids die taking Vicodin, but it wasn't Vicodin. It was actually a counterfeit Vicodin that it looked like a Vicodin pill, but it was cut with fentanyl. Yeah. And they overdosed on fentanyl.
Yeah, they have pill presses out there, and people are pressing those with the fentanyl. Yeah.
I understand people are buying capsules off of Amazon and making their own batches.
Yeah.
So it's not hard to do. I mean, the stuff's out there. Then of course, we'll talk about the dark web this session, but there's things you can get out there online in the dark web, delivered to your house through USPS from almost anywhere in the world now, and no one's going to know about it. If you're using electronic money like a Bitcoin, there's no trail.
Yeah, that's true.
Scott, my name's Scotty Mays. I'm a person in long-term recovery too, which means I haven't had a drink or drug since January 13th of 2016.
Awesome.
Congratulations on 35 years. That is amazing. Like that's inspiring, and that's something like I strive to do one day at a time. Eventually I'll get there, I hope. My question for you is how long have you been in the communities and involved with organizations with what you do with being a life coach and the crisis and all that?
Well, working, one of the things that I did that was, I don't know if it was unique or not, but when I got sober, I went through a 28, one of those guys. I was actually blacked out in the streets of New York in a 3-piece suit picked up by law enforcement. But during those days, I happened to carry this badge for the corporation I worked for, so they thought I was a cop, and they took me back to the hotel rather than jail. And, the next day I tried taking my own life, and I, wasn't successful, thank God, and divine intervention brought me, to the right place, and I got into treatment, flew home that night, and then got into treatment 28 days, and then I volunteered at a treatment center. This is back in 84, 85. And I stayed connected and, did everything I was told to do. And the first message I got was, shut up and don't talk. Mm-hmm. And listen, they actually said, shut up and don't talk, which I said, isn't that a double negative? And they go, look, just stop it. It's like, you got 2 ears, 1 mouth, close that one and keep the other 2 open, and you'll be teachable. And then the next message I got was, we will love you until you can love yourself. Yep. So I got very, very engaged and involved with the recovery process and, an old 12-stepper. And I stayed with that for years, and I've never left it. So go to my same home group I've been going to. My wife and my daughter just gave me my 35-year token with my sponsor, who I've had for 35 years, and my sponsee, who's been with me for 32. So it was an exciting day. This was like the 13th of November was my anniversary. And to answer your question, I've kind of been involved as a volunteer for a long time, and then I got into it formally with families. And what I found was when I volunteered and went, did my 12-step calls, people would kind of go, "Oh yeah, thank you." But when I go there as a coach now and as a family navigator, and they have to pay me a fee, they listen just like they listen to their CPA, their attorney, their car mechanic, and the person who does my kids' eyebrows and the medi-pedi. So when people have skin in the game, they listen differently. So I've actually kind of made it kind of a part-time job, and then I opened up the treatment center because I wanted to start helping people formally, got licensed by the state of California. They call it certified here in California, and started working with professionals, doctors, lawyers, first responders, and wanted to find a better way to provide treatment. And it wasn't just a 8-week program. It was an 8 to 10-week program with a 2-year follow-up. And we started to reduce recidivism. And that was important to me, meaning I don't want to take your money. What I rather do is I want to enhance your ability to improve your life, get gut health, be mindful, and live as long as you want, as long as you can, and do it in a quality way. And, there's a lot of people today, they go, "Oh, I don't want to go to that program. It's faith-based, and they make you pray, and, that's not my thing." And I said, well, wait, trying to kill yourself every day is your thing? Come on. So that's what I try to do, is just meet people where they're at, because I know one size doesn't fit all. So the more direct answer to your direct question was, I've been doing this for decades, and I've learned what not to do, which is important, and I find ways to help families, because if you can help a family, you can help the addict. Mm-hmm. Because generally the addict, the one who suffers from the disease of denial, doesn't think they have a problem anyway, but everyone else around them does. So I do a lot of intervention work, and most of my coaching is done by phone. So, listeners in your area are going, "Well, how can you help me?" Well, call me, 619-993-2738, 619-993-2738. You can call or text me. Anybody who's listening to this that hears this for the month of December, I'll give them a 10 minutes free coaching. So you pass that on to anybody you want. Anybody calls me, I'll give them 10 minutes of free coaching. And I'm not inexpensive, but I'm a lot less expensive than a funeral, a DUI attorney, or loss of job, or the kind of things that happen when you get in trouble around the disease of addiction. And I believe it's a disease, so I try to help families whenever I can.
That's beautiful. I'm going to call you, and we're going to talk longer than 10 minutes because I do a lot in my community, and you're not going to charge me, sir. You're not going to charge me.
No, well, if you call me sir, it usually means you owe me money, so don't worry about it.
Well, it's
you call me anytime you want. Just remember that we're on different time zones, and anything I can do to help you or help your community, And it's funny, I got a very interesting phone call today from a very, very devout Christian group, and they said, "Will you be able to help us?" I said, "Just full disclosure, my last name is Silverman, just so you know that. So when you go back to your board, make sure they know that I'm Jewish." But I said, "Look, this disease of addiction doesn't pick. Right. It's everywhere. Mm-hmm. It's everywhere. It's not zip code specific. So anything I can do to help you guys and your listeners, or your groups, and give you some of the nuggets, that I've gotten." I'm more than happy to do that. I mean, half of what I do is service work, and half of what I do is, try to make a living so I can pay off my kids' student loans.
Well, Don told me you were going to be on the show tonight, and I'm blessed that he asked me to be on the show tonight. And great. I was really looking forward to hearing you. And I'm not going to hijack the show anymore. I just had
you're good,
those
man.
Questions. I work at the county jail here, and I help navigate people into treatment through jail.
And when you Google me, okay.
Don't Google me.
Google me, yeah. Google Scott H. Silverman. But you mentioned jails. I ran a nonprofit for 18 years, and our specialty was working with people returning to the community from state prison and county jail. I'm one of the few. About 250 of us were tapped in the mid-2000s as reentry experts. So that's part of my passion, is working with people who have been behind the walls, because when they get out, no address, no ID, no place to go. And the program that I ran there was 4 weeks with a 2-year follow-up. So I've been working that model now since 1993, and I know it works, meaning you're in recovery. You know that, well, look, let me use another analogy. You want to lose weight. You can't diet for a weekend. Right. You have to make some changes in your life. There's going to be some pain around it. But once you make the changes and you add nutritional food and you start exercising, you will lose weight. But if you don't create a program for the rest of your life, and the example I like to give when it comes to the disease of addiction is the disease of diabetes. Yeah. It's the same kind of thing. The brain is just wired differently for some of us. but once you get diagnosed and you have assessment and you have a plan, you can treat diabetes and live a normal life your whole life. And I believe the same thing can happen with substance abuse, mood-altering substances, self-medication, gambling, internet, sex, or food, whatever your addiction might be. There's help out there. And I encourage people to reach out.
No more donuts, Scotty.
No. Hey, I'll quit when I'm ready to quit.
No, just do it in moderation. And by the way, I hate the word moderation.
That doesn't exist. Come on, man.
Well, that's the only person that feels good when that word comes out is the person saying it, not the person who has to
Right.
really do it. No, I know nothing. I know nothing about moderation. I've just read that it's good for many people.
Now, having worked with this for so long and getting clean in the 80s, has the stigma changed any? Are we progressing any? I mean, I know it's a lot. It seems like it's a lot more common occurrence these days than it was in the early and mid 80s. But is the stigma still as strong as it was as far as just as an addict is?
I think, first of all, I think that's a great question, and I think the stigma is it still an issue? Yeah. I mean, there's still people out there that go, well, if you didn't pick up a drink, you wouldn't have a drinking problem.
Right.
But also, I think what's different is the availability of mood-altering substances is just so easy to get a hold of. Let me give you an example. The district attorney in our community just was quoted, we have 3.3 million people here in San Diego, and just quoted the paper today and said this new report just came out last Friday. It was a study that was done over the last 18 months, I believe. And she made a statement, I don't understand why it's up. Well, I know why, because 10 years ago, a pound of methamphetamine in San Diego. Now, we're a border town, and most of it's manufactured at super labs in Mexico.
Right.
So a pound of methamphetamine, that's speed, a stimulant, was approximately $11,000 or $12,000 10 years ago. And the percentage of the ingredient itself was about 6% pure, 6% 10 years ago. 10 years forward, right now, 2019, a pound of methamphetamine is approximately $1,300, 10 times less.
Wow.
Secondly, it's a little over 90% pure. So what's happening is the level of purity and the cost is so low, the availability is so high. And, again, as a guy who was an unlicensed pharmacist for quite some time, I understand the distribution, and as a recovering drug addict and alcoholic, I understand the drug-seeking mentality. So I've got both sides of it. Plus, I sit on all the different, task force here in our community and talk with interesting people. Plus, I'm embedded in the recovery community, so I see it from a different perspective. So, availability, and now with the dark web, and you can get things in the mail, it's just scary how much is available out there. And what's also fascinating is when you take and look at the suicide rate and the median age of how that's going to a much lower age, in my opinion, people who have untreated trauma, incidents, catastrophic events, loss of family members, loss of job, loss of relationship, the coping mechanisms I think that we have as human beings, they're not in place like they used to be, or asking for help has gotten harder, or it's become more difficult with low self-esteem and lack of self-confidence. We're just not asking for help. It used to be intact families, even though someone might be kicking your ass every day, there was somebody there you could technically talk to, or they would talk to you whether you like it or not.
Right.
So I think it's a combination of what's going on, and now that we're legalizing marijuana across the country,
Yeah,
it's
I was
much
going
more.
to ask about that, and how do you think that's affected the availability of everything else?
Do they use that as medically assisted treatment out there?
They're not using. They're using CBD, and some people are using THC, but it's pretty rare. MAT pretty much. When you think about medication-assisted treatment, it's really around the opioid crisis,
Right.
And we're seeing obviously things like Subutex, Suboxone, harm reduction, Vivitrol, methadone is a big one, just because it's federally all over the place and it's been accepted as a harm reduction tool. But when it comes to marijuana, it's the other issue with marijuana from what I understand from the science, is 20 times stronger than when I was smoking in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
So what happens is, we also have this potency issue. And then, of course, there's the counterfeit medication piece where people are taking things and not even aware of what they're actually taking.
Right.
So that's contributing, I think, to the overdose rate as well. And just, I think 3 weeks ago, I think it was CDC that said, well, the opioid overdose rate is starting to decrease. Well, fentanyl is skyrocketing.
Right. Yeah.
Fentanyl's an opioid, but so, and a lot of that's, and to me, other countries like China and Mexico, imagine the conferences they go to, guys, gals. They're sitting around going, our largest consumer is the United States. How do we maintain? Can you imagine this? They're having these meetings. How do we maintain market share? So I understand that some of the methamphetamine distributors in Southern California are actually fronting methamphetamine to their distributors because there's so much profit to be made. The prices are so low. If somebody doesn't pay them, they make a nasty phone call and do a dirty deed. But at the end of the day, and then China, who creates fentanyl, most of it, and then it comes through Canada, they're going, we got to increase our market distribution. So they're competing now for the morbidity rate when you think about it. And I've been interviewed probably in the last year 20 times, and the one question that comes out, well, how can they possibly sell something that kills their consumer? I said, well, every time it hits the news, their business spikes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's like this perfect storm.
What about are you seeing kratom used as medically assisted treatment with the synthetics out there?
Not really, but it's something that some doctors will pick and use. There's all kinds of different things out there, that people are trying, NAD and IV drip. It's not FDA approved, but it's only a vitamin. So people who really actually care about people are trying different things. And one of the things that, we do at our treatment center, Confidential Recovery, if somebody comes in and says, look, I got to give up alcohol, but I'm not giving up marijuana, most treatment centers will refuse access. And any abstinence-based program, any 12-step program is not going to let somebody in that wants to keep doing something. My attitude is I'd rather have you sit in a room and get some education and maybe work towards abstinence, which to me is what harm reduction really is. And I got to tell you, I was a homeless provider for 18 years, working with ex-offenders, coming back to community, and I didn't believe in harm reduction until I learned about how it saves lives. So why wouldn't we give someone that option?
Right.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to have to take our break at the half hour.
Wait, again? You guys just took one a few minutes ago. This must be a union show. Or something.
It is. It absolutely is.
You guys are great. I called you earlier, and you go, we're taking a break. I called you back. You go, we're almost done. Now you're taking another break. Clearly not paid by the hour. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, look. Then I'll say my goodbyes and thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, I was going to say we're going to cover news stories if you want to stick around and have a laugh, but that's entirely up to you.
Well, you tell me what you want me to do. I'm from California. I'm feeling pretty flexible. It's still only 5:30.
Yeah, it's rush hour. Where you got to be?
Are you stuck in your car right now? That's
No. I'm planted in my garage, waiting for the weather to climb above 67 so I can celebrate again.
Oh, really?
Celebrate under 67.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we were at 44 last year. They're thinking about closing schools. It was pretty.
That's hilarious.
That's so funny.
44 here. I'm in shorts and a hoodie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They're walking around in flip flops. I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's funny.
All right.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate the time.
Appreciate you.
Yep. Do you want to throw your information out one more time and your number, just in case? And
Sure. Yeah. It's
we'll let you go. We'll let you go. So you.
No, I don't mind throwing it out there. I'll do it real quick. Scott H. Silverman, H for happy, Silverman, Silverman. Just Google me. YourCrisisCoach.com is my crisis coaching site and family navigator site. Confidential Recovery is my outpatient program, and no one's going to fly out here for outpatient. You might want to. And my phone number, again, text or call me at 619-993-273. And I really dare people to call me. That's my direct number. People go, why would you give your number? I said, well, how are you going to help people if they can't call you? So have people call me, and I dare people to call me, and I'll give you 10 minutes absolutely free. And by the way, free is my second favorite F word.
Right.
Can we say the first one on the radio?
Probably not. Probably not.
No, I'm
It's
not gonna
food.
do that.
Everybody's first favorite word is food.
Right.
Sure.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, thank you very much for calling in. I
pleasure.
appreciate it. Yeah, it's been great talking to you, and
Yep.
I learned a lot about everything going on out there, and
Yeah.
it's definitely a frightening world right now.
Yep.
No, it is. And it's not isolated to San Diego. Like I said, it's not
Oh, yeah.
zip code specific.
Yeah,
So thanks again for the opportunity. And again, I hope people call, because when they do, that means that they're reaching out. If they're reaching out, that we have a way to really maybe help save a life. So
Absolutely.
thank you for that.
Thank you.
Anytime.
All right, we'll go ahead and take a little break, and we'll come back and hit some crazy news stories. I'm going to play some Potter's Field because I know that's Scotty's favorite. So we'll be back here shortly.
This is the longest day of my life. Minutes feel like hours, like days, like years. My thoughts way down.
lesbian Nazi hookers abducted by UFOs and forced into weight loss programs. All this week.
Back to the Life Radio Show. Yep. I was told to do the Muffin Man. That's the thing.
The Muffin Man.
It's a thing. It's a thing, man. It's a thing.
You still can't get as high pitched as I can.
Let me hear your Muffin Man.
No, this is a friend of mine. This is a shout out to a friend of mine.
Okay.
And the Muffin Man.
The Muffin Man.
Yeah, the Muffin Man.
That's pretty good.
All right. Hey, welcome back to the Life Radio Show. I'm your host, Don Smith. We got a little deep. It
Loved
happens
it.
on the Life. That's what we do.
Awesome.
We can go every direction. My apologies to Scott Silverman for being in silly mode when we first started, but we recovered.
I see what you did there.
And we're back.
We are back in normal mode for us.
Oh, man, that train derailed quick. Like everything was aligned perfectly.
It all been building up. And go!
And oh my gosh, we gotta get it out.
Here we go.
Perfect.
Yes.
We got her started now. Let's see if we can keep her going.
I swear it sounds just like my mattress at home. I swear.
So what are you saying? You saying you lay on her?
I'm
at
saying I need a new mattress, Patrick.
Yeah.
Tara will tell you that.
California Police Department announced it foiled two Grinches who were
Curses.
trying to. What's that?
Curses. Foiled again, sorry.
Yeah, curses. Right, foiled again.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, see? Foiled two Grinches who were trying to steal Christmas from a group of foster kids. See? Yeah, we don't like that around here. Red Buff Police said it all started with a burglary Thursday night at the Children First Foster Family Agency. Staffers with the nonprofit reported the burglary Friday morning. A large amount of toys were being held there for children for Christmas presents were taken, police said in a news release. After reviewing surveillance video, officers said they determined the suspects were coming and going from the home next door. Officers spotted the suspects who matched the video surveillance and arrested Joseph Betancourt, 24, and Marie Bennett, 40. May they rot.
Yes.
Next door. They didn't even go to go to the children's shelter across town.
How lazy do you have to be?
They got him right there, Mama. But we can get him out of there. I know it's only a 16-year age gap. I'm probably correct. They might still be in another kind of relationship, but I'm still. It takes a special kind of person to steal kids, foster kids,
Christmas gifts.
Christmas
That's terrible.
That's
Draw and quarter them.
What's that?
Draw and quarter them. We need to bring back old
yeah.
medieval torture for those kind of people.
Absolutely. I'm
She's
with
like,
you.
let
I'm
me
with
go to
you.
my closet.
Yeah. Yep. Grab that eel. They're learning a lesson tonight.
Look, just because I have a car battery and jumper
What the
cables.
crap.
Yeah. That's what I'm doing.
You just brought the Muffin Man out of
Got my muffin thought toasted.
One of my many talents.
All her safe words are in German, though, so if you don't know them, all her safe words are in German. So if you don't know German, you might be in trouble.
I just grunt and spit a lot. It's pretty close. Yeah, but how do you know when they're saying them or they're just having a good time?
Wouldn't be the first time.
Your neighbor's like, he really likes that word 9. What does that mean?
9. 4 if you're lucky.
Man,
I know 9. That ain't 9. Oh,
dude, it did not take us long, did it, Patrick?
Hashtag
I'm glad
reasons
we
I'm
bounced
single.
back from all that serious stuff.
They do hashtags reasons I'm single right here.
That's kind of why I didn't ask him to stick around. Just might have got really weird. You
Willy weird? Wait.
Willy weird.
Willy weird.
Willy weird. Yeah. 9. Oh, speaking of Willy weird, police in Ohio are hoping someone can help officers smoke. Sorry, I just realized it was worded that way, and that just makes the whole story a little different. Let me start over. Police in Ohio are hoping someone can help officers smoke this sex offender out of his hiding place.
Shut up. Man, I did not see that coming.
They did. They were smoking it.
Dude, sex offender was the last thing that I thought you were going
The
to
last
say.
thing you wanted to smoke.
I'm gonna need that recovery program now
I'm going to need another.
Why are you smoking a sex offender?
because I'm addicted to smoking sex offenders.
If it's smoking, you did something wrong.
Man. I need another donut. Triggered.
Absolutely. Whew.
I need a cream-filled sex offender. I mean, donut.
Yeah, chocolate mousse filled. That's
By the electric eel.
Douglas Perry Christopher, who has a distinct cannabis plant tattoo on his forehead with the label "pothead" emblazoned above it.
Of course,
so he can hide easily. Is wanted by the Washington County Sheriff's Office for allegedly failing to provide a change of address. Christopher, 51, is a registered sex offender in Ohio and served more than 3 years in prison after being convicted.
Convection current.
Yeah, throw him in a conviction of it. Convicted of sexual battery in 2010, records say. Police say his last known address was in the southeastern Ohio city of Belpre, right next to the state's border with West Virginia. Or Belper, I don't know.
Or Belper.
It's Ohio. It's probably just Belper.
That sounds like something you say after you drink a bunch of soda. Belper.
Yeah, Belper. In addition to the marijuana-themed tattoo, Christopher has the phrase "lone wolf" imprinted across his fingers, according to the sheriff's office. Lone wolf.
That's
I bet
a
he
great
graduated
date
from the School of Hard Knocks.
Lone wolf. Smoking
Smoking a sex offender. That might be the...
That's
Smoking
the
a sex offender
possibility.
in a convection oven. That's where
Yeah.
we're at this point.
Let me write that down as a possible show title.
That's for
Smoking a
Thanksgiving
sex
dinner right there. It's a sex offender
You
in a
ever had a
convection oven.
smoked sex offender? What?
No, but I've had sex offender legs.
Dude, we need a processing group with Patrick.
Yeah,
He's got some core issues we need to
Yeah, we need to write some of these things down and just like Google whatever the hell he's talking about. Most of the time, I don't know. Sex offender legs. Okay. How about a thigh?
No, we're not going there. That's a whole nother
That's too
rabbit hole.
far.
That's too far.
All right, well, let's go with a little more sane story. A man in England was arrested Monday for allegedly damaging several vehicles by throwing a box and 2 ferrets at them. See,
A box
much
of
more
2
sane.
ferrets.
The unidentified 25-year-old was apparently caught in the act before 7:30 p.m. as he was detained by members of the public during the incident in Harrogate. When police arrived on the scene, they discovered, quote, at least a dozen vehicles were damaged, including smashed windows, dents, and scratches. North Yorkshire Police said in a news release Tuesday. The vehicles were hit with a box and a box of some sort that were said to hold a pair of ferrets. Holding a pair of ferrets. That's another good show. A pair of ferrets. The 2 ferrets were also thrown at a car, according to authorities.
Like spears?
A dozen cars. He would have had to just continuously pick up a ferret and throw it at more cars. Give me back my ferret! There's more cars to throw them at.
Maybe they were drunk like the raccoon.
It must have been. And that was their punishment. How did they drank the last of his booze, the last of his mulled wine, and he's like, I'm ferret tossing now.
ferret tossing.
That's the new Olympic sport there,
that's a good
ferret
one.
tossing.
Ferret tossing.
Ferret tossing.
English
Not
ferret tossing.
Para-ferret tossing.
Not tossing.
Para-
It's ferret tossing.
Ferret
at this
tossing.
point.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
You
Para-ferret
don't
tossing.
put a G at the end. If any kind of animal that size that you're
It's just
tossing,
tossing?
yeah, there's no G at the end of it.
Okay. Sorry, I got to get my country going again. I apologize.
Yeah, well, that's not country. That's just ferret talk.
That's just ferret talk?
Ferret talk. Yep. Welcome to Ferret Talk.
It's ferret faucet.
Welcome to Ferret Talk with a para-ferret.
Sorry, that was ferret talk.
I didn't understand a word of that.
Yeah. Let me repeat it.
Clean my ear out over here. One more time.
She's answering that. That is an old school ferret mating call. In case you hadn't noticed.
Wait, do you still have your stink gland?
Be careful. We might have a bunch of ferrets running in the studio if you do it.
It's all ferrets and eels.
Yeah.
That's what
The gerbil just wasn't enough for Richard
right,
Gere.
right, right.
He graduated to ferret.
And forget about the raccoon. Nobody wants a drunk raccoon.
No, because it's drunk. It'll never find its place.
Yeah, imagine a ferret up there would be like, "Hey, let me out of here. I can't breathe." Oh, man.
Y'all are the ones that tell me not to hide my laugh. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Typical star, not taking accountability
We're
for her
recording
actions.
this, so I'm going to capture that in a loop and just play it for like an hour at the end of the show. It's just going to be your squeak.
You can do that, and then
I did that with one of Charlie Snort's ones.
That's funny.
Played it over and over.
Hey, I've had the discussion with some of the comedians. You know, they're like, you should just record it and sell it
There you
to
go.
us.
There you go.
We should offer $100 to somebody who can accurately count the number of times she squeaked during the 2 hours.
do you have $100?
I was gonna say, do you have $100?
Yep.
I wish.
Get the squeakometer. I'm writing that down too. We have all kinds of show titles tonight.
Get the squeaker meter.
You didn't know what you signed up for, did you, Milo?
Man, Milo's over here like, I'm glad I'm a shadow.
Yeah, I don't want to be on the radio anymore, Patrick. UK prosecutors claim that a woman arranged a, quote, medieval duel to the death between her husband and her lover to win her affection. These names are great. Asta.
La Vista.
Boom.
Thank you, Scotty. I'd have never been able to pronounce that.
That was great.
That was such perfect timing.
Well done, Milo. It was in unison. I'll give you some
That was
credit as
great.
well. Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah, from
Carry
out
on,
the
sir.
shadows.
Carry on.
Sorry. I got to say her last name quicker. I just had to pause when I saw it because it's like, I got nothing. Asta Juskauskain.
Oh, my goodness.
Juskauskine.
Bless you.
Juskauskine.
Juskowski.
There you go. Juskowski, 35, had just left her husband when she met 25-year-old Montas Kvardis, a prisoner in Lithuania online. She met him online.
Oh my
You
god.
sound like that dude from Twin Peaks.
Yeah, after his relief. I need some relief. After his release from prison, where did I go? Kvardis, Kvedaras. Kvardis. Traveled to London and began his affair with Juskowskina. According to reports, her husband, 42-year-old Giedrius Juskauskas. Why do I do this to myself? I picked this article. I didn't have to report this one. I said, give me that one, because I'll look like an idiot.
You picked it for the oscillator.
Anyway, her husband did not want a divorce and continued to provide child support because he's a moron, according to a testimony cited by Metro UK. Since both men claimed Juskowskini as their own, because nobody else wanted to claim all that, she allegedly arranged to have the men settle the matter through a medieval duel in a Stratford alleyway in East London. Prosecutors were told her husband was stabbed to death on June 17th with at least 35 wounds to his neck, chest, or his nest.
His nest.
They hit him right in the nest.
Right in the nest.
His neck, chest, and shoulder. Wow. He didn't do so well.
No. Did he even have a knife?
He must, yeah,
Sounds like he was just murdered.
Yeah, that's the thing. She forgot to tell him he was in a duel. Like, there he is.
Oh, imagine being in that alley. Yeah.
Pronounce it. I don't know. A Japanese man
Oh, this should be fun.
This should
A
be
Japanese man was arrested for allegedly calling a phone company a whopping 24,000 times to complain to them about his contract, police said. Akitoshi Akitomo.
These names.
I like how you take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Like, here it goes.
Yeah, we're just going to get it all out at once because I don't want to pause like after I did Asta. Because, Akitoshi Okamoto, Mr. Roboto. 71 years old, was taken into custody last week for apparently inundating KDDI Corporation's customer service department with toll-free phone calls over an 8-day period. 24,000
in 8 days.
in 8 days.
I got to do the math on this one.
Patrick's going to crunch some numbers because he's
Man.
confused how this is possible. He demanded the KDDI staff come to him to apologize for violating his contract. The police spokesperson said of the situation, he also repeatedly hung up his calls immediately after placing them. Come and get me! And they did!
He would have to make over 2 calls per minute.
Got a lot of time on his hands.
Ha, ha, ha. Oh, and he can't sleep either. He has to do this for the entire 24-hour period.
absolutely. Yeah,
That's the good math.
yeah. Here's the good thing. He can't say his phone didn't work.
This is true.
Like that complaint went out the window at that point.
Yeah.
This thing works great. 24,000 times in 8 days. Not a single drop call. Oh, man. Phew. Well done, Mr. Roboto. It was a robot calling. That's
That's what I think it is. 'Cause there are
It would have to be.
legitimately
Yeah, it would have to
programs
be.
on your computer that do that kind of thing.
in a related story. You may want to put down the cell phone and switch to the speaker. You'll never get all those calls out. A study led by a facial plastic surgeon and published Thursday in the JAMA journal. There's another word I'm not even trying on there. Found a spike in face injuries from cell phones.
We just forgot how to answer a phone.
Hey, it's not funny. I gave myself a fat lip with my phone.
See, that's what we're talking
But I was
about.
doing this, and I
dropped
dropped
it.
it, and
Yes,
it smacked
yes.
right there.
There we are. One case included a woman who broke her nose when she dropped her cell phone on her face. There you are.
Oh, there you go.
Dr. Doris
Dude, where do you find these people?
Dr. Boris Paskover of Rutgers, New Jersey Medical School said he looked over 20 years.
Right. I'm sorry. That name.
Okay. You, Patrick. He looked over 20 years of research data and found an increase in injuries beginning in 2006 when smartphones initially hit the market. And your face. Cell phone-related injuries to the head and neck have increased steeply over a recent 20-year period, with many cases resulting from distraction, the report concluded. Although the disposition of most cases is simple, some injuries bear a risk of long-term complications. Researchers estimated 76,000 people incurred cell phone-related injuries from 1998 to 2017. The study involved cases and cell phone cases collected from the emergency room visits from around 100 hospitals.
That's more people than we get terrorists in this country.
Right. Cell phones are terrorists. That's what we're getting at, Patrick. You wouldn't let me finish.
I mean, no, I'm not making that joke.
That's what she said. Yep.
I was going to make another joke involving the emergency number, but I'm not going to.
Okay.
Moving on.
Yeah, that's
Well,
good.
thanks for that cliffhanger.
We have one news story left
Oh, yeah?
in less than 2 minutes.
Oh, let's do it.
Can we do it?
Can we do
We
it?
can do
Of
it.
course we can do it.
Just
Yeah.
don't jack
You
up the
think-
name.
you think we can finish
I
in
hope
2
they're all in
minutes or less?
English. Go for it.
I have a feeling every guy in here can
Democratic
finish in 2
presidential
minutes or
candidate
less.
Marianne Williamson, that's an easy one, got slammed on social media after she apparently fell for a fake news story Sunday night that claimed President Trump pardoned Charles Manson, the murderous cult leader who died in 2017. She says, there is something deeply sinister about Trump pardoning Charles Manson, even posthumously. She wrote to her 2.8 million Twitter followers. Dog whistles of the very worst possible kind, she said. I don't even know what the hell that means. But, yeah.
No.
Yeah, the self-health. I'm just going to sit here.
Get a Texas speech engine to finish it for you.
Yeah. What?
Texas speech engine.
It's all like Texas
Get a
Instruments.
British voice
Oh,
to
okay,
finish your
okay.
story.
Oh,
for you.
there you go. There you go. That's I don't want to be British. The self-help author who's running a
Yup, it almost happened.
who's running a long shot candidacy for the Democratic presidential nomination, later deleted the tweet and admitted the information was erroneous in a follow-up tweet. Glad to have been wrong. Yeah, that was dumb.
That was kind of.
And she also deleted that one. So she wasn't that glad to be wrong. That she would. You have to leave the initial tweet up there if you're going to tweet about being wrong about that tweet. Otherwise, you're just wrong. I don't know.
I
The
got
whole
nothing.
thing makes me Twitter.
That was just anticlimactic. Like I needed more for my 2 minutes.
She needed more to
Don't
squeak
we
with.
all? Don't we all? Yeah. Get the eel. Yeah, it still made you squeak though. So
Well, you know.
anyway, that's all we got.
That's all,
Scotty,
folks.
you have any shows coming up? Anything you want to throw out there? Anything you want to
Show's
plug?
coming up.
Yeah. You know,
I probably should, but I'll be back soon.
I'll be back. Hasta la vista.
Yeah, pretty much. Let's just,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know if I'll be
well,
back.
anything else going on? Anything you want to throw out there at all? Anything?
getting married.
Just, you're getting married.
Yeah.
You want
And everybody
invite
take
all
care of your
our
mental health,
listeners?
man. That's important.
That is important. That is important.
So,
Yeah,
that's,
3 out of my 4 voices say it's important.
yeah.
I'm going
You
through.
take care of all 4 of them.
I'm dealing with some stuff right now up in here, so everybody just be aware of. Just be aware.
Oh yeah, I'm with you. I've been dealing with my stuff too. We're all stuffed.
We're all stuffed.
up there. Yeah.
My therapist says I'm fine.
With,
Shush.
that one of those other voices is either a ferret or an eel.
Or one of each at this point.
One of each. Well, one's got to go in and get the other out. Best buds for life.
But hey, if you need your hair done, check out Bella Disastros at the
Exactly,
Green.
exactly.
Salons by the Green.
Yeah, and make sure you go to Dayton.com for the best of 2019. Scotty Mays, vote for him for something. just
Sympathy.
because. Just because.
Just a sympathy vote.
Yeah, just a sympathy vote. Well, you were on the list of best comedians in Dayton last year, weren't you?
Yeah, I won.
So there, yeah. You did get the
2018.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, there you go. And then make sure you vote for Wiley's.
Now I'm a
The best
VH1
comic.
Where Are They Now kind of guy.
Yeah, and you're on the Life Radio show where we dig into the Where Are You Now?
The twigs
You're right
and berries of the glazed
Yeah,
donuts.
and the nuts in your sack.
And I just get to be a groupie.
Yep. Any grouping going on? You want to plug some grouping?
Well, I'll be at Wiley's on Sunday, of course.
Okay.
The Toy Drive, absolutely come out because it's been a blast the past 3 years.
Oh,
2
yeah.
years.
Oh, yeah.
This is the 3rd one, right? Yeah.
I got to decide what I'm doing. If I can't get a Santa suit, I'm not sure. But
I might be
I'll
able to
figure
help you
something
out with that, man.
I say I might too because I know a couple people that have them too. So
She's probably got one in her closet.
I do not
Yeah.
have a Santa suit in my closet. I
It's
don't
black,
go
it's
that
black leather. It's all latex.
her Santa closet.
Oh!
On that note, let's get the hell out of here, Patrick. Hey,
course.
thanks for listening to whatever this has been. It's been a thing. We've been here. You've been there listening to it.
Love y'all.
How do you feel?
Love all 6 of you that finished this with us.
Good night. That's your cue, Patrick.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the Life Radio Show podcast. Check it out wherever you listen to podcasts. Remember, if you want to listen live, we are on Tuesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. on WWSU 106.9 FM. You can also stream the show live at WWSU1069.org, and we go Facebook Live at the Life Radio Show's Facebook page. If you have suggestions or comments, feel free to email thelife1069@gmail.com.
Brutal presence overwhelms me. presence.
So the problem is I can't end the show because the window hid itself under the start menu, and I got to figure out how to get it back. It's stuck down there. Yep. Just temporarily while I fix this.
Didn't even know I could go all night. Still. I'm not a young man anymore. Get Silverstein back on the phone.
Okay, there we go.
Get somebody to call in. We got to do this.
There we go. Okay, we're
all
ready to
this
end
is going
now.
out on the podcast.
We're ready now. Here we go. Good night, everybody.
Oh, you get to end it.